Hey everyone, and welcome back to Master Sight. That is right, you are in the right channel still. I just got a little haircut, little beard trim. You know, gotta get ready for upcoming event later this week. But today we got a battle report for you. We'll talk about events later this week in another video. I have the game one of Battles and Beers, which was a really fun time up in Minnesota. Jason Burr ran the one day. And yeah, so let's jump into it. I got game one against Erik Greiner. He is one of the Minneapolis locals who attends quite a few tournaments around the area. So this is the first time that Erik and I have gotten to play each other, though. He's playing Free Dwarves, and he has two regiments of the Berserkers, both with Pathfinder, one with Pipes of Terror, one with the Orb of Towering Presence. He has a horde of Earth Elementals with Diadem of Dragonkind for Fireball 8. He has two regiments of Brock Riders, both with Pathfinder, one with Blessing of the Gods, the other with Helm of the Drunken Ram. He has two Mastiff Hunting Packs with Throwing Mastiffs. He has Korag and Kolarm, the Greater Earth Elemental, with the upgrade for Fireball 10, and I believe he also gains Scout. He has a Free Dwarf Stone Priest with extra Surge, so Tome of Darkness gives it Surge 11, Banechant 2. He has a Berserker Brock Lord mounted on the Brock with Axe of the Giant Slayer. He has Bannock Colarm, which is the first time I played against him, so he's kind of a multi-tool, multi-purpose. He only hits on 4s. He's only defense 5, but he does have 6 attacks. He's comes with Banechant 2, Fireball 10. He's brutal, Crush 2, so he's kind of good at both, casting spells and fighting. But yeah, interesting character for sure. And then he has two Dwarf Lords on Large Beasts, one with Meat of Madness, the other with Blade of the Beast Slayer, basically making it to where he's going to be high crushing in those grinds against the large infantry monsters and otherwise. So, total of 13 drops and 21 unit strength. So, here is a picture of Jason's backyard where the event is held. So we got a couple pictures here, but I think he got a total of 26 players or so because we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tables, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 tables. So maybe it was 24 players. But yeah, great turnout. It was a beautiful day as well. Didn't rain on us. The cloud cover came out midday, so it wasn't too hot back there either. So it was just perfect. And this is Mr. Erik himself, the man with a much better beard than I ever had. And this is our deployment. So first scenario we're playing is Plunder. So I had to decide a token point for making it worth 2, so I decided the middle one. He decided the far right one over here. As far as deployment goes, I have a regiment of the formation, what's it called? Dracons out here. Troop of Silverbreeze, Regiment of Silverbreeze. Nimue is right here. I have a Battle Cat with the Horde of Seaguard. Another regiment of Silverbreeze with the blank base is going to be where the monstrosity of this unit is at all times. The Horde of Dracons, they're just too much. Another Battle Cat, the Regiment of Seaguard with the Drakon Lord behind, and then the other regiment of formation Dracons. This one, hopefully, we'll get a better picture, but it has a tent on the base. And so that's going to be our brutal because tents are terrifying and pipes of terror. So, and then way off onto the right edge here, my last drop was going to be the Alchemist Curse Mage with Boots of Levitation. Oh, and I have the Bolt Thrower back here. Erik has his Berserker Brock Lord with Regiment of the Brocks. I believe this was the one with Helm of the Drunken Ram. He scouted up with Kolag, his two Mastiff Packs, his two regiments of Brocks, a Dwarf Lord in the middle with the Horde here. I believe Kolag and the other Stone Priests are sitting behind the main line here somewhere. His other regiment of Brocks and the Lord out on the right, which I believe this Lord out on the right is the one with the Meat of Madness. So, yeah, so jumping right in, he got first turn, and so he positioned like so. Move forward a little bit in the middle and on the right, and then just reposition on the left is all. And ran that Brock Lord out a little bit over here to threaten some stuff. He's not in range to charge, so not too worried about him yet, but that is definitely priority target number one because he'll be a pain in my butt. Yeah, like I said, just a little bit of slight movement. He got into this, which we're playing as flat, difficult. Guess I should have gone over the terrain real quick here. So hill, impassable, impassable. These little tiny things are going to be forests, obstacle, and then this is a flat, difficult, really limited terrain on this board. It just felt pretty bare, pretty dry in general, but anyway. So then on my turn, this is what I did, which is just nudge forward a little bit just to get within range of shooting. He's got to pick up those tokens eventually, and I'll attack him when he does that eventually. But right now, let's just outshoot him because we can. Try to take off some dogs. This is actually after the shooting phase, as we'll see here. I'll get a little closer, but yeah, just nudged up to be within 18 and whatnot over here. Up to be within 18, draw a line of sight past this. And then these guys were shooting at them, so nothing too crazy out here. It's tough. The individual's going to blend in unpainted here, but my Alchemist Curse Mage was able to run straight forward and then pivot, and he's out of front arc of all these guys over here. So we're going to pump Alchemist Curse into the Lord on Beast because we can. Yeah, pretty straightforward. We end up killing one of the Mastiffs, and then we don't quite waver the other one. And then the shots on the Brock Lord on the left don't go terribly well. I think we only do like 2 wounds to him, so not off to a great start. But yeah, and then we did 3 wounds to him. A little below average, but that's all right. Start chunking away. 4 wounds to those guys, yeah. So Erik moves forward a little bit more, kind of as fast as the dwarves will go. I think he could have been moving up a little bit faster, and I probably think he should have in some on the right hand side here, especially. But he was definitely taking his time, looking, making sure that he wasn't exposing anything. But yeah, he just gonna have to wither the shooting. We were talking throughout. It's just not a great matchup for him. He doesn't have long range shooting to force anything, and then I outrange him in shooting and with charging, so it's just definitely not where he wants to be. So he does run his Brock character out this way. because he was able to get out of the front arc of this regiment here. So that was his thought process with that. And then he went and he's going to pick up this token with this guy here. He unleashes, or this was the fireball over from the left here. And then he unleashed some hounds onto these guys here, both of which are taking a few wounds. So these guys took 3 wounds from the fireball. I think the other guys took 2 or 3 wounds as well. So bottom of 2, I go into this position, claim some territory on the left-hand side here. And then also you'll see my Drakons jump the line over here. So this is a pretty big mistake, I think, on Erik's part, allowing this to happen. Because the character did it the first turn, and now the Drakons are just doing it the next turn here. So, uh, you know, it's tough. It's not a whole lot he can do unless he would just layer up and only play on this half of the board, which I think is probably the best play he could have done, is if everything over here was actually on this half of the board. But there's just so many angles that this army can kind of penetrate the lines, so only so much you can do. Yeah, so a little bit closer look. So on the left here, we do a nice little tricksy play. So anybody that's running cavalry individuals, Nimue here popped her fly and flew out here, 1 inch away from the cavalry individual, and everything else is either out of charge range or in its flank guard. So I'm safe even if I don't kill this individual this turn, because the individual pivot happens before you give the order. So the individual pivot, you're not allowed to come within an inch of an enemy unit. So he can't actually pivot to look any direction to his right. He's basically going to be limited to a 180 pivot, individual pivot, or looking the same way he is right now. So I'm keeping all these guys in his flank where he won't be able to look the next turn if he is alive. So hopefully he's not alive, because we got fireball, we got another 21 bow shots going into him, but you never know. So this is just a tool to protect me. And then the Battle Cats coming in clutch. They charge the Greater Earth Elemental, but there's enough overhang here that the Brocks physically cannot pivot and charge anything else. They're going to be locked into just a flank charge on these guys, or a movement that doesn't include charging. So very happy with the positioning over here at this point in time. And with the right flank, so we're picking on the flanks. We're just laying in the middle, doing the things we do as elves. Something we don't normally do as elves is pick up a defense 6 Lord on Beast in the second turn. Our Alchemist Curse did work this turn, I think, putting in about 6 wounds. Our Bolt Thrower added a couple more. And I think that with the 3 wounds that he had, that was enough. We got 2 good nerve rolls to pick him up. So very happy with that. Not so happy with the fact that I can't tell. We don't kill him. I think we're at like less than 10 wounds still over here, maybe like 8 wounds total. I think the fireball completely whiffed. Did no wounds, which is a little sad. Hitting on 4s, wounding on 4s with 10 attacks, but either way, he's still alive. But luckily, we've already put our defensive measures in place, anticipating that. So, and then the Battle Cats did enough to wound the guy, so we can't just back up and fireball us. So this is Erik's top of 3, how he's looking here. In general, he's just trying not to get flanked to high hell, but we're gonna do our best to make sure that we still do that. So he just moves the Brock Lord forward, pivots, and gets back over here a little bit. He just backed up the Brocks here so that we can't draw line of sight to each other between these units. And after he kills the battle cats, he looks to the left over here. Move forward. He does pick up the 2-point token with, again, another defense 6 unit, as we kind of expect. But we got to peel back these layers. There's a ton of Brocks, foot Brocks, or Berserkers, the foot Berserkers and the Brock regiments that haven't been touched yet with shooting. We need to definitely apply some more pressure to. So, yeah. And then he got aggressive with the Earth Elementals, pushing them up there as well. I think he fireballed me. What are we at here? 4 wounds on the regiment of Silver Breeze at this point. So there was the one combat he had was killing the battle cats. That was pretty easy. So it went to my turn rather quickly here. So we decide it is time to go ahead and hit the front line here, mainly because his right side of his line is looking out away from us. So we're not going to have any answer to the Drakons coming in. The Berserkers here and the Lord are going to be able to hit the Horde, but the Horde's pretty resilient, so we're not so worried about that at this point. Yep, and this regiment didn't have very good options, honestly. These two were going to be in the front, and it was hindered. We were out of charge range of the flank over here. Otherwise, we definitely would have hopped over and helped out. So we actually decide to back them up from where they were, so they're out of charge range of this unit. And we're planning on shooting these guys. So these guys are actually majority out of the flat terrain. So we can Alchemist Curse them. We got a regiment of Silver Breeze. We got cleared bolt thrower shots. We got the regiment of um, Spears, Seaguard. And he is also uninspired out here now. So it's a lot of shooting to put into one unit that's uninspired, and we're leaving it up to chance. If we don't kill it, he's going to hit the regiment and probably kill the regiment. So, but if it happens, it happens. So we're trying it. And then we're going to dance a little bit more on the left flank. So let's go a little closer over here. So I just ended up sidestepping these guys so the greater Earth Elemental can't see me to charge me. And then I pre-measured out his character. We pumped a ton of shots into these guys last turn, but they're still alive. Anyway, his Surge caster is over here, which after moving and casting Surge, it can basically get up to where it's going to be like a 7, 8, or 9 inch Surge, because this guy's not going to be able to move his full 6 inches. Otherwise, he's out of the Surge range. So I feel pretty safe over there, assuming we can kill an individual this turn. But this guy is pretty heavily damaged. Like I said, I think he's at 8 wounds. So taking a couple risks, but I feel like we kind of have to get the position we want with these Drakon regiments at this point. And we are out of front arc of the Brocks with that. And then this unit moved. It picked up the token. Having the token, they were not going to get anywhere that was safe. So I decided to just whip them around over here. They're actually safe from a surge to the rear because a 90-degree pivot just gets him over here, and he's facing that way. So you have to pivot over 90 degrees, but with the obstacle or the impassable terrain, he's actually not able to angle appropriately to hit me in the rear. So safe there. And then the intent is that the Brocks are in my flank, but we'll get to that in just a moment. So yeah, shooting. We don't kill the Brocks. In fact, we do like 6 wounds total. It was just awful shooting. It was really bad. We got just enough to kill this guy over here, luckily. And we had picked up this token at this point. We are by either of those two units. So, yeah, and then flipping this unit around here, we shot into the center. I forgot we did shoot at those guys the turn before with the horde. Um, so they were already damaged quite a bit, and with the regiment here shooting them, we got some good damage on them and picked them up, which is very lucky. That I think saves the horde for a turn or an additional turn than what it otherwise would have. Yeah, so out here, yes, 6, 8. I can't quite tell. Either way, below average. Not ideal. We didn't kill them, and they're fearless, so they don't care. So going into Eric's turn, this is what the board looks like. So you'll see Brock Riders get a charge here, and then Brock Riders in the rear here. Yeah, it helps. Instead of just intending to be in the flank, it helps to actually like for me to actually measure and make sure they're actually in the flank. It really wasn't even that close when we pulled out the arc. It was quite obviously a rear charge. So definitely a big mistake on my part. So between that mistake and then this poor shooting, I'm looking and it's like, well, it's not so guaranteed. Nothing's in the bag at this point. So we still got our work cut out for us. We did put a good chunk on the Earth Elementals in the middle from our combat with them. I think it was 10 wounds or so, which very respectable. I'm perfectly happy with that. Did not expect to kill him. Main reason we went into him was because there was very little counter to hit us back after we hit them. So, um, also something to look at. His Brocks have kind of kept my units in the back corner over here. This Lord on Drakon has been casting Hex to stop fireballs and Bane Chants and different things onto these units in the middle, which he's been doing pretty successfully, thankfully. But he definitely needs to get in position to help out now that obviously these guys are in trouble. So these Brocks kill the Silver Breeze as expected and overrun to that position there. These Brocks kill them as expected and turn around to position here. And this is what movement looks like after my turn. So on the left, we say Greater Earth Elemental isn't worth it. Just fly the regiment over to focus on the center. So scenario wise, now I figured that these two tokens were going to be in my control, but I've kind of screwed it over on the left hand side by not killing the character for 3 whole turns of shooting and then allowing for a charge I should never have allowed with these guys. Um, so we're bailing and saying, well, there's 5 points worth of tokens over here. We need to just guarantee that at this point. Um, but we're keeping the troop just to be a nuisance over here, and it can hopefully pick up a token or stay alive. Yeah. So token and Nimue. Nimue had to march over. So again, we're put into a position where he is facing that way, and a 90-degree pivot for him doesn't even give him a surge option. So he's gonna have to pivot over 90 degrees to face towards Nimue here. And I'm in such a way that if he pivots to try and go around me, he's either not going to hit me or it's going to be such a long surge on this side that it's just pretty much impossible, even with his Surge 11. So, yeah. Over here, we just decide to move up. I figure at this point, oh, this is after combat even. Sorry, guys. But I double charged the. See if we have one before. Nope, I was just behind over this. So I countercharged. He had charged my Dracons, did a few wounds. They stuck. So I flank charged him and front charged him. It was a hindered flank because there is an obstacle here. So we turn around and we're facing the Berserkers, but they'll be hindered coming into me here. Berserkers would also be hindered going in here. So yeah, we're just doing that stuff, and then we turn to face towards the center because this is a 2 point token. Our shooting should eliminate this unit, so it should just be one unit of berserkers uh, to deal with over and have for these tokens. I did pick up this 1 point token with my Drakon Lord, so. Oh, I guess, since we, spoiled the surprise of combat already. The surprise really is that we got this unit up to 17 wounds and then rolled Snake Eyes. So, yay! Brocs that get 2 turns of charges that we weren't expecting. So he wasn't able to fit into the flank of my Drakons due to my positioning with these units. So he had to go into the front of the Drakon character. But they are hindered, so we should be all right. And he took Barrick into the front, which I had Alchemist cursed him the turn before. He has 6 wounds on him, so. Yep. And then Berserkers went in here. This is even after they did their attacks, but Barrick there. And then the flank against the Horde, which turns out it kills it. Who would have thought? Yeah, that I knew was coming. I didn't have enough shooting to really pump into him, so yeah, just try to get a couple wounds on him and set up for an answer with the Drakons. Is all. He does get the surge. He fireballs me and then gets the surge into these guys. So he is fighting Nimue there. And yeah, and I was trying to kind of speed through the ending of this game, so skipped a couple pictures here. But we charged the Brocs and picked up the Brocs there. Yeah, and then we he he wavered several units here, so he did like 3 wounds. Let's go back real quick here. Yeah, he does 3 wounds to these guys. Wavered them. He did like 4 wounds or 5 wounds to this guy. Wavered him. And then he did the Earth Elementals had did like 5 wounds, so he did like 2 more wounds. He has brutal with this guy, so he wavers the Horde. So I have everything in combat on that right flank over there is wavered. But yeah, happens. So yeah, our turn. We charged in. We killed the regiment of Brocs there, and I dropped the token here. Turn around with the Silver Breeze and ran over to this token just to help keep them safe, more or less. We did a withdraw and then a 90-degree pivot with the character praying to God that we can kill this Brock unit with shooting that's still alive. And then we're positioning here. This is bottom of 5. We're positioning the dogs to get to that token. This on turn 6. So at this point, I have 2 tokens worth of points, about to be 4, and he has a 2 point token here, and likely will be able to get to this one on a turn 6. So if he kills Nimue early enough, which she actually stuck around, she got wavered. the first turn of combat. So, yep. So we went back into, or yeah, Barrack. What's it called? Barrack went back into us. That's what it was. Anyway, so he kills the Dracons. He kills Nimue and overruns. This is top of 6 here. So uh, then we skip bottom of 6, but I rear char. He charged the Dracon unit, did not kill it, didn't even waver it, so it got to countercharge, and the my lord on Dracon here got a rear charge onto him. And this guy was already at 7 wounds from the Silver Breeze, or not Silver Breeze, the Horde actually put in a decent amount of work, even though they don't have any crushing or thunderous. They did quite a bit of damage to him, so we were able to get him to kill range, and so we did end up killing him. And then there was a turn 7. So we ended up picking up all the individuals as well. This is after we started picking up. His only thing left alive was the Regiment of Rocks and the Greater Earth Elemental. Or I picked up one of those two. Either way, I had all the tokens. The battle cats are alive. They have this token here. So in the end, I won the scenario, and I was able to kill everything, but I think one unit of his, which put me into the maximum points for kill. So max points was 19 because there was only a +4 attrition. And it's only positive, it's not a differential. So we were able to pull out the max win, even though we had to make it a little bit harder on ourselves, giving away a rear charge and not killing Brox over a couple turns of shooting that we were expecting to. But yeah, Erik was a really fun guy. We were just talking a whole bunch. I think we were the last game to finish because we were just chilling, having fun, talking about the game as it was ongoing. So, but yeah, had a real good time, and yeah, good win to start the day off. So we're going into round 2, knowing that we're likely tied for the top spot at this point. With 24 players and only 3 rounds, there's definitely going to be the possibility of more than one undefeated. And then even a high chance that there's going to be people that max out their rounds, since we're looking at just positive attrition points. So yeah, but really enjoyed the game, Erik. I appreciate it, and sorry that elves are a pain in the dwarf behind. So, but stick around for the next game. We'll have game 2 up here shortly. Appreciate you all for watching.